Hello, good morning, and happy SUMMERWEEN. It is a bright, sunny, beautiful Saturday today, and so I would really like to be out and about and doing things. And while I am out and about, I'm going to be listening to the audiobook for Annie Bot, which will be my first book of this readathon. It's pretty short, so it should be pretty fast to get through, and I think that will give me motivation to continue the readathon very strong. But this is a sci-fi book about a robot named Annie who was made to be a companion for her human owner, Doug. And I've heard so many amazing things about it. I've heard that it's really thought-provoking, and so I'm so excited to read this. But yes, I'm gonna finish getting ready. Grocery shopping needs to be done. I also kind of want to get a bouquet of flowers for my apartment. Maybe I'll stop by the bookstore that's in the area as well, and I'll be listening to my audiobook.
Are you cold enough? Or is there someone else beside you? Left a left-hand side behind and let you down? Or have you figured out how to sleep all by yourself? I know you always like to have someone around, and I can't let a good thing, can't let a good thing, I can't let a good thing. How you feeling now? 'Cause it's all it in your face, you won't retract to me.
I just woke up from the longest nap, like one of those naps where you're on the couch and you do not mean to fall asleep, and then you're out for like several hours. And I feel bad about it because I wanted to read more of Annie Bot, but I am just barely over halfway through right now. I listened to some of the audiobook while I was out today, which I need to show you the fun things that I got. But I've really been enjoying this book. I'm so engrossed by it. We follow our main character, Annie. She is a robot who was made to be like a sex doll for her partner, Doug. And so her whole life has just completely revolved around pleasing him. I don't know what's going on upstairs, but her whole life has been completely revolved around her pleasing him, and she's just recently in the past few months been turned autodidactic, which I did have to Google what that meant. And it basically means that now Annie is like AI and she's thinking for herself, and as the book goes on, her intelligence is increasing more and more, and she's like seemingly more and more human. And so it's really interesting to read from Annie's perspective, because I do feel like I've noticed a difference even from the beginning of the book to just a little bit over halfway through, that you as a reader can see the ways that she is changing and gaining independence and learning to like lie, for example, or learning to disobey Doug in small and large ways. Doug, her owner, is the worst. I hate Doug. He's only happy with her when she does exactly what he wants her to do, and she's so hyper attuned to his emotions in a way that is really reminiscent of like toxic relationships and very uncomfortable to read. There's such a strong inequality in their relationship because he does kind of try to treat her as like a girlfriend or a partner rather than just a sex bot, although that's mostly just in label than in how he actually treats her, because he is just so controlling and unfeeling about how Annie will react to different situations. Like his manipulation and how afraid Annie is of him is kind of scary to read. And I know that she's just a robot, but she doesn't feel like a robot. She feels like a real person, and I love her and I want her to escape from Doug so badly. But yes, I'm absolutely loving this. If the rest of the book is as good as the first half was, this is going to be a 5-star. So that is very exciting. If I were able to start off SUMMERWEEN with a 5-star book, that would be thrilling, and I do think I'll be able to finish this tonight. Also, some fun things that I got while I was out today. You already saw my flowers, my mango juice, but I also got these puzzles at the bookstore. I got this one, which is a bunch of songbirds, and the colors are just really pretty, and I like the little music notes in between them. I just think it's adorable. And then I also got this Victorian house. It's got like gold foil in it, and it is my dream home. I just feel like it would be very fun to puzzle and audiobook during this readathon, so very exciting. also would like some tomato soup, but I am wearing, as you can tell, all white today, and the risk of staining this is much too high, so I'm gonna go put on my pajamas. Hello, welcome to Summerween Day 2. I have finished my first book of the readathon Annie bought. I actually finished this morning. I'm so happy to say that the first book of the readathon was a 5-star read. I think I said earlier that this book is from Annie's perspective, but it's not first person. It's just a very, very close third. And it's such a close third that I at times felt like I was Annie. I felt so emotionally invested in her and in her struggle for independence and autonomy and the development of her relationship with Doug and the other relationships that she makes in this book. Even though she's a robot, she does have a lot of humanity, and I just really loved Annie. I was so fascinated by this story, and I flew through this book. I think it's one of the best books that I've read all year. So thank you so much, Sierra Greer, for a 5-star read. I really adored this and could not recommend it more highly. But now I have been working on my puzzle, the puzzle that I got yesterday. If you can see over there, my bird puzzle. It's been so fun. I'm really craving a chai latte today, but I forgot to buy chai while I was out yesterday, so I might have to pop to the store quick and pick some of that up because I would like to have it in stock for the week for my morning drinks. But other than that, it's going to be a very chill day. It's like very drizzly, rainy out, so it feels like a good day to just, you know, hang out inside puzzling and audiobooking. But the audiobook that I'm going to be listening to is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by Miss V.E. Schwab. I'm really excited about this. This is a historical fantasy taking place on multiple different timelines. I believe that it's about vampires, which is why I think it fits for Summerween. I have not actually done any of the prompts yet. Let me actually look at what the prompts are and if I can potentially perhaps complete any today. I could read a book in the dark once it gets to be nighttime. If I'm listening to this book, that would be easy to read it in the dark. Read a book outside might happen once it stops raining, but for now I'm an inside girl. Ooh, read a book with 6 words in the title. This says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nice. That's a prompt. I feel good about that. If I'm being so honest, when I was forming this TBR, I was mostly basing it off of what I wanted to read, and all of the prompts were very secondary to me, so I'm very pleased that this actually does fit a prompt, because I do tend to be a little bit loosey-goosey with readathons in terms of actually following the rules. I mostly just use it as an excuse to read a lot of books in a short period of time. If you want to know my full Summerween TBR, that is in my most recent video, so you can check that out if you want to let me know for future Summerween vlogs, which will be coming in the next few days, which books you want to see me read and talk about first. But for now, it's going to be this 7-word book, Bury Our Bones in Midnight Soil. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. Sorry, I had to double check. I was nervous for a second that I had miscounted. I've been seeing so much buzz about this, so many great reviews for this, so I have high expectations.
And now she has a whole new reason to feel sick. Katy used to ditch class all the time. Alice never married the Lennox passing by, carrying her close to me.
Blade against her whetstone, while every time Andres leaves, and so she pretends it is, and makes no move to answer.
Hello, I have a puzzle update and an audiobook update. First, the puzzle update. I am almost completely done. All I have left are like the little blue pieces that go in between the birds. So I think that it's very likely that I will be able to finish my puzzle tonight, which makes me feel very good. And then in terms of my audiobook, I have 14 hours and 36 minutes left, which in the book I am basically 120 pages into the physical book. I like this book so far. I like the writing a lot. I feel like V.E. Schwab is a really talented writer, and I like the way that she crafts her sentences. But character-wise, I'm not like loving any of the characters yet. I'm not particularly invested in them, but we are only 100 pages in. We've been primarily following two characters. Maria, who lives in the 1500s. She has recently been married off, so she has to deal with this really terrible man and his somehow even more terrible family. She as a character is really headstrong and really independent, and sometimes kind of callous in the way that she talks about other people's feelings. And then we're also following a character named Alice in 2019. She is a Scottish student going to college in Boston, and so it's her first year of university, and she meets a very unique girl at a party, so it'll be interesting to see how that relationship develops over the course of the book as well. There was a very exciting, not a reveal, but a very exciting development at the end of the most recent part that I finished, and it's really, things are starting to get supernatural and magical, and I'm really excited to see where the story goes from here. I hope this isn't a really boring vlog, because literally all I've done today is work on my puzzle and listen to my audiobook and drive to the store to buy chai. A really exciting Sunday for me. This week I'm gonna be working every day, so you will be seeing a lot of my apartment as I read before and after work. But yeah, happy Summerween.
Range drum beating louder still. Wrong. Not for the sun.
But I would be safe, and I'll split some teeth.
I am now, let's see, it looks like kind of halfway through the audiobook. I've got 9 hours and 31 minutes left. I was a little bit hesitant in the beginning, and I think that's just a result of the fact that I had just finished Annie Bot. And so whatever next book I was going to read after reading Annie Bot was automatically going to be held to a very high standard because I loved that book so much. But I'm liking it more and more as it goes on. And I will say I am so thrilled to be right that this book was about vampires. I had heard some like conflicting information where I saw some people say that it was about witches, and not that there's anything wrong with books about witches, but I just prefer books about vampires, and this is a vampire book, and it is a gruesome, bloody vampire book, and again one that I'm really enjoying. I think originally I was more interested in Alice's story. She's the timeline that is in 2019 than in Maria's, who is the timeline taking place in the 1500s. Now I think I'm equally interested in them and very intrigued about how the third perspective, which has been introduced just once so far, is going to come back into the story. But yeah, still really loving how it's written. I'm going to continue listening to the audiobook. I love the way that it's narrated and the fact that each perspective has a different narrator. But I'll be listening to that while I go to the post office, because I have a package that I need to tape up and then take to the post office. And then I have a shift at the library later this afternoon. I work at the reference desk, and luckily, if it is very slow and I don't have any other projects, I can read my book, so there is a chance that I'll be able to do a little bit more bare bones reading there. And then tonight I have plans with a friend. I don't know what we're doing yet, if we're going to get drinks or if we're going to see a movie, but that will also put a slight pause on my reading for the day, which I'm okay with, because as much as I love reading and I love readathons, it is really important to me to prioritize spending time with friends.
Mateo smiles.
My house is like a zoo.
Hello, it is nighttime. I had a pretty good day today. My friend just left. We were watching The Pit on HBO, which is a really good TV series. It's like an ER drama, but it's also so stressful to watch. My hat goes off to anyone who works in an ER, anyone who like works in the medical field in general. It seems so stressful and so emotional. Not that every job doesn't have its pitfalls, but like this in particular, I was like, oh my god, this is intense. But it was a really fun show for me and my friends to like sit and talk about and discuss and watch together. We also got dinner at a taco place nearby my apartment, and so that was really fun too. We were able to walk around the cute little area where the restaurant is, because they have different shops and things too. And I've gotten done quite a bit of reading today. I am now pretty close to the end. I would say, is that like 3/4 of the way through? Maybe. I mentioned before that I really liked the writing style in this, but it's got such a specific rhythm and musicality to it that has been getting stuck in my head. I don't even really know how to explain this, but I would be reading my physical copy. This happens to me when I read the physical copy, not so much when I read the audiobook, but when I'm reading the physical copy, my mind will get so in the rhythm of the way that it's written that when I stop reading, I feel like I'm still thinking, in that rhythm. Like I feel like I'm automatically crafting my thoughts to sound like how V.E. Schwab would write, and it's not something that's like lasted all day, but it definitely stuck with me for a while after setting the book down. It's the same kind of feeling that I used to get when I was really young and I would watch a movie or a TV show where all of the characters had a different accent from me, and when I would come out of the movie I felt wrong when I was speaking because I felt like I should sound like the characters in the movie. It took me a second to reset. That's how I felt coming out of this book. Besides the writing, I've also been very happy with the way the plot and the characters are developing. There are characters who are growing and evolving in good ways, and some characters who are growing and evolving in really bad ways. Characters who are losing humanity and shrinking and devolving instead. But I am now fascinated and equally interested in every single perspective. We've been getting more from that third perspective that I mentioned before, and all of the pieces are starting to come together. It's starting to be revealed how these characters are connected, which I really appreciate because there was a period of time towards the beginning where I was nervous that all of these characters weren't going to be connected at all, and I've just been really loving it and the direction that it's been heading. I think it's very likely that I will finish this either late tonight or early tomorrow morning. So I will update you tomorrow on day 4, which will be tomorrow for me, in the next few days for you because it will be in my next vlog. So I'm going to head to bed and squeeze in at least a tiny bit more reading. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. Good night.